through this whole journey of mine, I've been fortunate to sit with some people who gave great advice and share their incredible insight with me.
Oh, it's good to see you again.
It's so good to see you.
Glad to be here. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Dr. Livingston has become a real important part of my journey.
Oh, we're very happy.
Yeah, I can believe it.
So lots of change and lots of things to talk about.
Yes, indeed. All good, sounds like.
It's all good. I've learned so much in this time that I almost feel like I just want to sit around and talk about what I've learned. And get started and catch up.
Yes, indeed.
Not that everything's been answered, but I feel a lot more resolve all the way around. Thank you for rejoining me again on this journey.
It's a pleasure, Shania.
It's not been an easy one, but you have been like an anchor throughout the whole thing.
Oh, thank you.
And what I've found is that no matter what kind of loss that devastates us, whether it's illness or death or the breakdown of a marriage, the grieving process is pretty much the same cycle. Once you've experienced an emotional crisis, you can't just say, well, that's it, I've decided I'm not going to feel that.
Yeah, and it brings us to the reality that we don't really have much control over our feelings, our thoughts. The only thing that we control is our behavior, which is why when we respond to these unwanted feelings, it's got to be behaviorally. It's not by suppressing them or wishing that they would evaporate.
And what I found that I've done throughout my whole life is I do try to control my reactions. And then I ended up doing what you just said. I suppressed a lot of it. And I think I will spend a lot of time still finding that equilibrium and that balance.
But it's interesting that one of your reactions was to become rather perfectionistic, which is really, I mean, that pays off for people. It makes them good at what they do. But behind that perfectionism lurks fear. Yes. And I think that's what you're finding.
I can't say that I'm comfortable confronting things that scare me, but by doing it more often, I'm getting more comfortable with the fact that on the other side of it, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always say, unless you have 3 good reasons why not to do something, you really should do it.
Someone once said, a lot of people die with their music still inside them.
Yes.
And in some ways, that's the definition of courage. You know, moving forward, even though you're afraid. Courage isn't fearlessness. It's just the ability to keep going when you're experiencing fear. And sometimes it takes a crisis, such as you've been through, to bring us face to face with that and realize where our strength lies.
You're right. It took one more crisis with my marriage to make me realize it is just no fun living in this pretend world of I'm okay, everything's all right, when I'm not all right.
In that sense, it was a disguised blessing, wasn't it? I mean, it kind of, you wouldn't have chosen this, but once you were forced into coping with it, it's, I think, turned out to be a really important experience for you.
Yeah, well, I feel very grateful that I've, for some reason, this time around, in this crisis, I have finally found the courage to be different. I can't live and try to just pretend that everything's okay. So the me now has a different perception on things overall.
I think you've become much more hopeful in the course of this, just in the time that I've known you. That's really an important capacity to develop, because without it, our lives are pretty empty. And so to see your optimism returning, I think is going to be a really great gift.
I hope so. Through all the evolution that I've gone through with this emotionally and psychologically, and I'm just much, much more in acceptance now about who I am, and that's a very peaceful feeling. It's been a really beautiful experience for me.
Yeah, it's been productive for me as well, and I thank you.
Thank you.